Hola amigos, we're going to be covering a portion of what you need to know for commands, both positive and negative to commands. And we'll see that there are other types of commands in other situations. The whole idea of commands for Spanish is far more complex than English. And there's a fair amount of content to learn. So we'll break it up, and we're starting with two commands, both positive and negative. Commands in Spanish are called mandatos, and it is a form of the verb that we use to tell people what to do or not to do. And these can be done both in orders or more politely as requests. Sinónimo or synonym, un sinónimo de mandato es orden. Orden. Sometime back we learned the basic present tense for some verbs, and the present tense in Spanish is used to describe what someone does at a certain frequency or is doing in the moment. This is not that. This is telling someone to do something. You're looking at someone and saying, hey, you, do this, or don't do that. That is different than the present tense to describe, to make a statement, or to ask a question about someone's actions. As we learn how to do this, as usual, there will be some verbs that will be regular, and they will be good about following the basic rule. And then there will be some that you will just have to learn, make an effort to memorize their special forms because they are different. They are irregular. So we've talked about the difference between tú and usted. For this lesson, I had remarked that we're breaking it up over a few lessons. This lesson is only going to be for someone for whom you would be informal, such as a sibling, your friends, your pets, etc. You would use this type of command in those circumstances. You can also use them to make polite requests. So the rule for the regular circumstances is to just take the verb and put it in its third person singular form. That is the él or ella form. So that is confusing because remember, these are two commands. So you're looking at someone, you're saying, hey, you, do this. But we're not using the to form of the verb. We're using the él or ella endings. I know it's confusing, but that's how it's done. So here we have three basic regular verbs, and we're showing you the two commands. So this is you looking at someone saying, hey, you, do these things. What things? Habla. Hablar, habla. Speak, talk. Beber, bebe. Drink this, bebe. Escribir, escribe. Escribe tu nombre. Write your name down, for example. And I know this is confusing. Again, we've learned these and seen these endings when they're referring to él or ella or usted in simple present forms of these verbs. This is no longer that. You have to differentiate that circumstance from this lesson in which you're taking the same word, putting it in a new context, giving commands, making requests of someone. These are the endings for that as well. Here's a clear example that differentiates between saying that Juan is dancing in the cafeteria to, hey, Juan, dance in the cafeteria. Don't dance here in the library. Go dance in the cafeteria. So baila and baila would be used in both cases, but you see the comma changing this to a command, and the one in green is just a simple statement that Juan, what is Juan doing? He's dancing in the cafeteria. So same form of the verb, different context, different language function. So AR verbs, remember we have AR, ER, and IR verbs. That's it in Spanish. So you have to fix the endings depending on what kind of verb it is. So for AR verbs, you're going to end with an A for 2 commands. And for ER, IR verbs, you're going to end with an E for affirmative 2 commands. Then you need to separate, differentiate between AR, ER, and IR verbs. That'll be the case for whatever type of circumstance you find yourself in using a verb. Here again, affirmative 2 commands. Comer, come, come, eat this. Hablar, habla, habla. Speak, say something. And vivir, vive, vive. Live in Renton. Go live in Renton. Vive in Renton. So now that we have the basic forms down, here are the 8 irregular affirmative 2 commands. So these are very common because these verbs are very common, and they don't obey that rule that we just got done talking about with hablar, comer, and beber, etc., vivir. These are 8 verbs, and you have to learn their 2 command forms. Venir, ven. Come, ven. Tener, ten. Ir, be. Go, right? Go, go away. Be. Decir, di. Say or tell. Ser, se. Be. Looking at someone, making the command, se, as in sé más paciente. Be more patient. Hacer, haz. Haz. Do this, make this. Salir, sal, leave. Poner, pon. Put or set. These next slides, I'm taking those and giving them some sort of context, putting in some other words to come up with a complete sentence that is a 2 command, telling someone or requesting someone do something, as in ven aquí, ven aquí. Ten paciencia, por favor. Ten paciencia. Ve con ella. Ve con ella. Di la verdad. Di la verdad. Ven aquí. Ten paciencia. Ve con ella. Di la verdad. Sé amable. Sé amable. Haz tu tarea. Haz tu tarea. Sal de aquí. Sal de aquí. Pon la mesa. Pon la mesa. Okay, now that we've learned how to tell someone or to ask someone to do something with a to command, a to affirmative command, you're asking them to do something. Now we're going to shift gears and move over to telling someone, again, we're telling someone or asking someone not to do something. So we call these mandatos negativos or negative commands. Mandatos negativos. The rule for negative commands is to take the verb, put it in the yo form, and then choose the opposite vowel ending that you would expect. So we just got done seeing AR verbs like hablar. We said the to command is habla. The minute you're telling someone not to do something, you're changing it to the opposite. You're changing that A to an E and an S. So it's ES on hablar. So if you're telling someone not to speak, you would say no hables, no hables. If you're telling someone to speak or to talk, you would say habla. Habla versus no hables. For ERIR verbs, choosing the opposite ending would be AS. And we'll look at some examples here. Here are the three basic verbs we saw before. No hables, no hables, no bebas, no bebas, no escribas, no escribas. Because of the fact that all 8 of the irregular verbs that we showed you for the two commands are ER-IR verbs, we're going to be putting an AS ending on it. Again, we're going to the yo form. So it's the yo form, and then change the ending to AS and put a no in front of it. That is a negative no command, negative command for these 8 irregulars. Venir, no vengas, no vengas. So the yo form of venir is vengo, yo vengo. And we take away the O and we add an AS. Note that all 8 of these end in AS. Tener is the yo form, we remember tengo, and it's no tengas, don't have. Don't, hey you, don't have whatever it would be. Ir, no vayas, don't go, no vayas. Decir, no digas, no digas, don't say, don't tell. Ser, no seas, no seas, no seas malo, don't be bad, no seas malo. No hagas for hacer, no hagas. We can take one of our demonstratives from last lesson and say this. No hagas eso. No hagas eso. Don't do that. No hagas eso. Or if you want someone just to sit there, you can say, no hagas nada. Don't do anything. No hagas nada. Salir. No salgas. No salgas. Poner. No pongas. No pongas. So all of these form the same pattern. These are 8 irregulars, yo form, AS endings. Remember that. What we have on this slide is the contrast between affirmative and negative commands, two commands, with some of the irregulars. Hacer, haz tu tarea, affirmative command. No hagas tu tarea, negative. Ven a la fiesta, affirmative. No vengas a la fiesta. No vengas a la fiesta. Ve, go. Ve con Matilde. No vayas con Matilde. So this is more complex than English, where we say do, don't do, do, although English has to add the helping verb of don't when we're negating. So we also do somewhat of a change when we're negating. But this is how it's done in Spanish. So you have to learn the two forms, one for affirmative and one for negative. Pon el libro en la mesa. Pon el libro en la mesa. No pongas el libro en la mesa. No pongas el libro en la mesa. Sal temprano. Leave early. Sal temprano. Or the opposite. No salgas temprano, por favor. No salgas temprano. A bit of a practice quiz here with flashcards. You'll be given a verb and a signal of either affirmative or negative, and you have to come up with the correct to command, whether it's affirmative or negative. Come. Come. Ten. Ten. Habla. Habla. No salgas. No salgas. Camines. Camines. No pongas. No pongas. Vive. Vive. Pon. Se. Se. No seas. No seas. Bebe. Bebe. Be. Be. Saca. Saca. Sacar is to take out. For example, if I say saca la basura, take out the trash. Saca la basura. No vayas. No vayas. Don't go. No vayas. Di. Pagar is to pay. So I'm telling someone, hey, pay me, pay the bill. Paga, paga, paga. Correr, to run. No corras, no corras. Mirar, to look at. Mira, mira. Anytime you want to get someone's attention to look at something, mira. Bailes, no bailes. Trabaja, trabaja. Dormir is an O to UE stem changer. So now we're not talking about the endings, we're talking about the stem of the verb changing. It still obeys the ending rule for commands, even though the stem is also changing. So dormir is duerme, duerme, sleep. Sal, sal. Usar is to cross, such as crossing the street. Cruza. Remember the Z is pronounced like an S. Cruza. Estudia. Estudia. Pensar is to think, and it is an E to IE stem changer. So in the negative, it's no pienses. Don't think that. No pienses eso. No pienses así. Don't think like that. No pienses. No pienses así. Don't think like that. To play, it is a U to UE stem changer. Juega. Juega con Juan. Play with Juan. Juega. Juega. No comas. No comas. To wash. Lava. Lava. No leas. Leer. To read. No leas. No leas eso. Don't read that. No leas. As. 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 Hacer is to do or to make. So the command as is do or make whatever follows. No hagas. No hagas eso. Don't do that. No hagas eso. Ver is to see. Be. Be. I would call attention to the fact that the to command for ver is the same word as the to command for ir, to go. So you need some context to know which it is. Be is for both verbs, the to command in the affirmative. No veas. No veas. Ve. Go. Ve. No vayas. No vayas. No vayas, por favor. Camina. Camina. Haz. Haz. No hagas. No hagas. Ten. Ten. No tengas. No tengas. No tengas. No salgas. No salgas. Encender is to light, as in a fire. No enciendas. No enciendas, and it's an E to IE stem changer. No enciendas.